They said it was impossible, but Hades has finally been finished in max difficulty. And I'm serious, by the way. People thought that it would be impossible to finish this game in max difficulty settings.
On the 20th of September 2021, the Chinese gamer YKC did something incredible. He beat the roguelike game Hades with 62 heat. The record before this was 60 heat, which was achieved by Tailesque in the previous year. Since YKC's amazing feat, no one had done any better, and 62 heat was for all intents and purposes seen as the maximum amount of heat that was humanly viable. Hades is a
Also, a small note to remember about Hades. This game is old at this point. This game is really old at this point. And since heat has come out as a mechanic in this game, it has been, I don't know, a couple of years. It has taken a really, really long time.
Masterpiece of a game. The mechanics, the story, the art, the music, and the sound design are all incredible. And one of the great things about Hades is its replayability. Once you beat the game for the first time, you get access to the Pact of Punishment, which allows you to increase the game's difficulty. The Pact of Punishment allows you to choose what ways you want to increase the challenge, whether it's increasing the damage each foe delivers, imposing a time limit, or taking away certain benefits you've earned.
Great system, by the way. Absolutely great system. You can slowly increase the game, but you increase the game difficulty, but you increase it the way you want, which is really fun. It's great. Hades overall is, by the way, one of the best games out there. If you haven't played it, you probably should honestly try it, because again, people are not disappointed. I played it for, I don't know, 20 hours. And I'm sometimes thinking, man, I should probably go and play it again because there's more likely new stuff added. I hadn't even unlocked all of the stuff previously.
And along the way, with each variable you increase to increase the challenge, the pact will add a certain amount of heat. As you increase heat, the game will offer you various rewards or allow you to unlock new abilities.
Statues? I don't remember this being in the game.
At 32 heat, you get your final reward, which is just a cosmetic statue. After this, there is nothing in the game to reward or even acknowledge you for increasing the difficulty further, but you can continue to increase the difficulty. With every single option maxed out, you can go all the way up to 64 heat, though this was never intended to be possible to do. The developers just wanted you to have options to vary the challenge.
Wait, 64 heat was the peak?
To suit your gameplay preference.
Well, that's actually cool. That means that there's still room to improve, huh?
And still get all of the rewards. However, after YKC beat the game with 62 heat in 2021, 64 was tantalizingly close. Surely, with 62 completed, maxing out the game and finishing a run was soon to follow. And yet, it didn't happen. Try as people may, 64 heat couldn't be done. Those final 2 points.
Why though? It seems so impossible, because how is 64 heat not possible? Because you still have the OP, things that you can pick. So how is it not possible?
Of heat seemed to make the game impossible to play. Even 2 years later in 2023, YKC's 62 heat run was still the most anyone had done, and 64 was still seen by many as simply out of the question. But then, on the 2nd of August 2023, the impossible happened. The runner Angelic became the first person ever to beat Hades with 64 heat, overcoming what is undoubtedly one of the hardest challenges.
Oh, he's using the shield, huh? The shield, when the shield is charging up, you block all attacks. So, okay.
Video gaming has to offer. In today's video, we will take a quick look at what made 64 heat so hard, and why many people thought it would never be done. I really hope you enjoy. Now, legends, this video is brought to you by the brand new free mobile browser game Unpaid Intern. Are you sick of your 9 to 5? Do you wish you could run through...
No, people who are sick of their 9 to 5 are just bad at their work and are working something where no one cares about their existence. 9 to 5s are awesome.
Hades is a roguelike action game where the player controls Zagreus, the son of Hades, as he attempts to escape the underworld. Zagreus will need to get through 4 biomes: Tartarus, Asphodel, Elysium, and Styx, each with their own boss, the last boss being the titular character Hades. Escaping the underworld for the first time is a fun, if not all that challenging, objective. It's when you unlock the Pact of Punishment that the real challenge begins. It didn't take long after Hades was released in September of 2020 for people to start really testing the limit of the game, and seeing how hard they could make things and still escape the underworld. A mere 2 months had gone by, and the player Tailesque had already beaten the game with 60 heat, just 4 heat shy of the maximum. Given that
Okay, so why is the maximum heat so hard in that case?
this happened so quickly, you'd be forgiven to assume that a max heat completion would be soon to follow. But alas, it never came. Zagreus has the option of using one of 6 main weapons, and Tailesque had been using
I haven't even used the gauntlet. Yeah, that's not even a thing.
the bow. Up until a certain point, the bow is amazing, but as players eventually realized, once you get to a particular heat level, it becomes impossible to progress. The Pact of Punishment gives the player 60
Why? Why? I have played. I don't know. Does it just not do enough damage? Is that the thing? Also, I don't know. I didn't like a single bow, honestly. The bow felt like meh in my eyes. But then again, I was a super bad Hades player, so not even afraid to admit it. I was actually not good at this. I just got really impatient when playing this game. So yeah, I took a lot of damage in places where I shouldn't take damage just because of the impatience.
variables to make the game harder. Many of them aren't too consequential on their own. For example, forced overtime increases enemies' move and attack speed by 20%, and each rank adds 3 heat. If you're a good player, this might not impact you in a negative way at all. In fact, speedruns that don't require any heat still turn this on to get through runs quicker. You can make foes have more health, you can increase the price of items in shops, or increase the amount of damage foes inflict. But there are 2 variables in particular that end up being absolutely killer, when all of the other options are increased. The first is tight deadline, which puts a time limit on each biome. At the highest rank, you only get 5 minutes per region, and if your time runs out,
oh wow, that's like a hard damage cap, eh?
You start taking damage every second. This means you can't play it safe, and DPS becomes a major factor. And the second option that is game-changing is routine inspection, which deactivates the talent.
Your talents from the Mirror of Nightmares are deactivated minus 3 per rank from the bottom up. So what, your only talents from the mirror that you get to keep are like extra health? Oof. Do you even have 2 dashes?
You've built up over the course of playing the game. And one critical talent is Greater Reflex, which allows you to dash twice in a row. Dashing is vital for not only avoiding damage, but for mobility in general. And at this
dashing is probably the most important thing in this game in general. Okay, that's not even a question.
Heat level, it is absolutely essential. With restricted mobility, it's almost impossible to survive. And not only that, if you need to spend more time running and avoiding enemy attacks, that's time you're not spending doing damage. And with the time restraints, things become futile. And it should be noted for those that haven't played the game, in Hades, you need to defeat every single enemy to progress through each room. So you can't just run through.
True. And I did, for example, this is the 3rd biome, right? Man, if monsters have a lot of health, a lot of armor, and all of those things here, because you see these little things, yeah, they're gonna find a thing and reincarnate themselves, and they're gonna become the whatever monster type they were before. So if you don't have enough damage and you need to be fast, like stuff like this is just painful. Wow. Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
True. Therefore, damage output becomes extremely important when enemies' health is increased and the time limit is reduced. This is why, when you look at Tailesk's first run of 60 heat and the 60 heat runs with the bow that followed, they all have everything maxed out except for routine inspection. And to this very day, 60 heat remains the record for that weapon. The bow just wasn't going to cut it, nor were most of the other weapons, but the shield showed a lot of promise. While Tailsk was pushing the limits of heat with the bow, the player Badge was doing the same with the shield.
Speedrunners use the sword, though. These people, so it's different. These people are trying to go for completion. Speedrunners are just going for speed. Speedrunners use a sword because it has like a super good dash attack, and it has a I had never got the sword, so I don't know. So I'm trying to explain it from memory. Speedrunners use the sword because it has a dash attack that's really good AoE. And, well, in general, the sword has just great AoE potential and single target potential. So that's why they use the sword, as at least last time I watched speedrun of Hades.
On December 3rd, 2020, he was actually the first player to beat the game with 57 heat. The reason the shield is so effective is its ability to block damage. Therefore, the restricted mobility is less of a concern. And on top of that, the shield has the Blitz Disc special attack ability. This is where Zagreus throws the shield which spins rapidly, hitting the enemy repeatedly in quick succession. What's perfect about this special attack is that after you throw the shield, you can still block damage. This allows you to overcome both the issue of surviving and dealing damage at the same time. The base damage per hit isn't necessarily high, but when paired with the Zeus boon Thunder Flourish, which you can find during gameplay,
your special causes a lightning bolt to strike nearby. Oh, that's not bad, considering it that thing probably attacks, like, 2 times a second or something. So this is pretty big. Okay. Your attacks emit chain lightning when you attack a foe. Probably less good considering bosses are the real waster, huh?
The DPS skyrockets. With this upgrade, every time the special hits an enemy, a lightning bolt will hit all nearby enemies for extra damage. So the Blitz Disc ends up causing massive AoE damage as well.
Nice.
Now that's all well and good in theory, but unfortunately in practice,
these guys
things
explode. That's so annoying.
Aren't so easy, because the boons you have an option of getting throughout the run are random. And it gets worse when you factor in the Pact of Punishment. Normally when you encounter a god, they give you the option of choosing from 3 different boons. But with the Pact, 2 options are removed, leaving you with only 1. So you have to get incredibly lucky to find the upgrade.
Man, that's how Artemis is the archer one, and it's a green icon. So you're telling me now you only have 1 choice? Your attacks do 75 damage. I mean, that's cute for the shield that bounces between enemies. I actually love that build. The Doom attacks that you throw the shield and it bounces between enemies. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Badge knew the shield was the path forward, and was the only viable option for a 64 heat run, and he would go on to prove this in March of 2021 by using the shield to beat the game with 64 heat. The only thing is that this was a seeded run, which meant that he chose the luck that he needed and crafted the perfect RNG. Badge showed what was possible, but it didn't necessarily show what was...
Wait, could you actually place seeds in this game? I don't even remember that. But yeah, it's seeded. Oh, I didn't notice that. It's right there on top. Oof. I don't know about you boys, but when speedrun involves seeded runs, it just kind of takes something away, and I don't like it that much. It is what it is.
Feasible. The shield did prove its worth, however, when in August of 2021, YKC set a new record of 61 heat. He would then follow it up in September of 2021 with a run of 62 heat. The only option from the Pact of Punishment that wasn't maxed out was routine inspection, which allowed YKC to keep 3 talents, and one of those talents was the ability to respawn with 30% health 1 time in each room. This is a gigantic crutch, because another option from the Pact of Punishment, Lasting Consequences, completely eliminates your ability to heal. So that 30% health every time you die amounts to a massive amount of healing you otherwise don't have. And you can see in YKC's 62 heat run...
Yeah, I was gonna say, he has less than 30% HP, so he's just gonna stand on the lava for a bit.
Intentionally die whenever he got under 30% health to get that extra healing. This allows you to take way more risks. Engaging enemies...
Wait, how do you die in this room? You can't. There's no damage source except the bull himself.
...more often to do more damage. And given that you need to do damage as quickly as possible, this is vital. The simple fact is that if you have to spend more time avoiding enemy attacks, you can't deal damage as fast. Ultimately, this is why the jump from 62 heat to 64 heat seemed so impossible. At 64, not only can you not heal, but you can't revive. And considering the enemies are faster, hit harder, have more health, have more abilities, and come in greater numbers, this adds up to an unfathomably difficult task. Because YKC could heal in his 62 heat run...
Oh my god, the rats are insane if you think about it. Because they're really fast, and you make them faster, that's not a good time. That's a hard time. I'm here for, you know, that easy peasy stuff.
For play riskier, he didn't quite need to be as lucky with his weapon upgrades. For example, the Zeus boon I mentioned earlier that is required was only common in YKC's run. For a 64 heat run, it's assumed you would need it to be at least epic, which deals 50% more damage. On top of this, YKC could equip the offensive keepsake Skull Earring, which causes you to do 40% more damage if you're below 35% health, which is the...
I was looking at it and I did not recognize what this one is. Okay.
Entire time. And it needs to be said again that YKC was able to heal many times throughout the run by dying, which adds up to multiple health bars. In a 64 heat run, you just can't play like this, and instead will need to equip a defensive keepsake, like the Evergreen Acorn, which allows you to get hit 5 times during boss fights before you start taking damage. And you are going to need every single one of those extra hits. Still, even with all of those advantages, YKC's first run...
Someday there will be a person who is an absolute prodigy in this game, and they're just gonna easy mode it. It's not even gonna be close.
Of 62 heat finished with a grand total of 0 seconds left on the clock. So just how lucky does one need to be to get all of the required upgrades? Well, in his video talking about why max heat is nearly impossible, Halion attempted to calculate the specific odds, stating this.
So with only some of the factors calculated in, the odds of getting...
Oh my god, this is gonna be... Okay. So, dude, this is gonna be like 1 in a quad... I don't know, Google Play. Let's just say Google Plex. This is gonna be like a 1 in a Google Plex type of odds situation, because the simple thing is, it's even if you need like 5 things to happen here perfectly, it's gonna be like 1 of 60 times 1 of 100 times 1 of whatever, and you know, yeah, that number is gonna be astonishing. Whatever he's gonna say is gonna be just mind blowing.
Run that is even plausible is about 0.0147%, or 1 in 6,802 attempts. Even if you only use
that's actually not even that bad. Huh? What are we talking about? Only 3 things in the world need to align? That's not even that bad.
45 seconds to reset in Chamber 1 as an example. That's 1 plausible run every 85 hours worth of attempts.
Yeah, that's not even that bad.
Is it possible? Yes.
Yes, obviously. It's not even that bad. Like, look at anyone playing RuneScape in the current day and age. Old school or RS3. This doesn't even seem that bad. Only 85 hours for 1 attempt at something? Bruh, that's not even that bad.
Is it reasonable? Absolutely not.
Needless to say, with the combined...
Okay, by the way, that's a super shitty explanation, by the way. That's a super shitty explanation. Okay, well, let me explain how actually hard this is. This is not 7K attempts is gonna be a good thing, and the part that makes it hard is not that you get one attempt that's plausible in 85 hours. It's the fact that it's gonna take you 7K games, and 99% of those games are gonna be restarted in the first room, because the first room you get a free upgrade, and that needs to be a specific upgrade. So this is like. Well, this is the one of the 60 things that I said. And then the second room probably needs another correct upgrade, which means that's like, also already like 1 in 3,000 type of deal or something like that, right? So 99.999% of your runs are gonna end on the second room, most likely. The thing that makes this hard, which he doesn't mention, is the fact that the game, after getting the perfect circumstances, is still hard. It's still hard. It's still barely doable, in fact. Because of all the damage. Because you still need to do all the damage. You need the rooms to not be too hard. You can't... Because there are some really hard encounters in this game in the first rooms if you're super unlucky, okay? And that can easily happen. So, maybe you get the 1 in 7K odds, but the next 2 rooms that you get are just too hard for you to do in a reasonable period of time. So, you can't finish the first floor, for example, in 5 minutes because of it. Bam. And that can happen. I don't think this is accounted in that. Because he's just talking about the probability of getting everything so a run can happen in the first place. Okay? This is what he's talking about. He's not factoring in the odds that what things can't happen so you don't instantaneously lose the run. Because... Again, not a professional at this, but I'm pretty sure there's still some kind of like rooms or situations that you see even on the first floor that are like, okay, yeah, this just happened. GG. There's no way I can complete even the first layer of hell. Okay, or is it supposed to be like I don't know in which direction they're counted. Yeah, it's. Yeah, this is deceptively good. This number is actually deceptively small and actually good.
Reasonable. Absolutely not.
Needless to say, with the combined luck and skill requirements, it seemed like no one was going to complete a 64-heat run anytime soon. Even if everything went your way, the hardest part of the run is the final boss. And I can't imagine performing that fight under such pressure. Not only do you need to play inhumanly well, but if Hades summons the wrong kind of enemies, it can end the run right then and there. And sometimes it's just not possible to both fight head-to-head to inflict enough damage and still avoid taking hits.
Yeah.
But despite all odds, the gamer Angelic actually did it, defeating Hades and escaping the underworld with the maximum heat possible, a feat that most people thought would never be done.
Nice.
I failed you again. I could have had you.
Heh. Nice. Okay, nice.
I did it.
Aspect of Zeus special become Blitz disc. Blitz blah blah blah. Okay, your special cause. Okay, it's on Epic. That was the main one that they said that you need. That's the one that calls the Thunderbolts down. Your summon deals 2,500 in an area near your closest foe, then continuously down the line. Okay, I didn't even know that's a thing. Okay, your lightning effects also jolt enemies. Jolt damage 200. Heroic. Wow. Explosive return. Your special deals 50 damage to foes around you when you catch it. I mean, that's pretty insane, huh? Good stuff.
Honestly, at the level of gameplay required to complete this challenge, there are few people on Earth who could actually watch it and have any idea what's going on most of the time. The game is hectic at the best of times, and being able to get through everything without dying at this difficulty level is outright insane. This is easily one of the greatest feats in gaming history, and it will be interesting to see how long it takes before someone else is able to do it again.
Hey, it's only a matter of time until someone does it again.
64 Heat seems to be at that perfect level where it's just barely humanly possible. If it were any harder, it may never have been done, and if it were any easier, it just wouldn't be as special. A massive congratulations to Angelic on the achievement. Please go and show her some support by checking out her run and subscribing to her channel. The link will be in the description. Also, if you want more information about the run itself, I'll put a link to Halien's video on what a 64 Heat run should look like as well. Thank you so much for watching, you legend.
Well, that was Jacob. Karl Jobst. Our boy. Anyway, that's pretty much it. This was Squizzer Sits In. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.